Hi, this is Bob from Hobby Concepts, and today I'm going to talk about how to convert this FlySky radio to a centering left stick. It makes it useful for Tamiya semi-trucks, which is what I use them for, but also tanks, RC cars, other trucks, ships, anything that requires a centering left stick. This is a remake of an earlier video I did, and after converting several hundred of these, I've got a few better ways to do things. So let's get started.
Well, let's talk about why to convert this radio first. So here's how the radio comes, and you can see the throttle channel here is just stays where you put it. Now that works great for an airplane because you're going low to high throttle, but for a vehicle you want that stick to come back to the middle. So trucks, tanks, cars, that type of thing, we need to make that stick center. So we have forward and then reverse. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to modify the radio to do that. We need this kit that has these modification parts here. Now this has also got some programming instructions, but not installation instructions. So this video is going to show you how to install this kit. There's several tools you need. You need a blunt tip screwdriver and a pointy screwdriver. These are Tamiya screwdrivers. I'll put links in the description. You need a pair of needle nose pliers, a good solid pair. You need a pair of pointy tweezers, and you need an X-Acto knife. And that's pretty much it. So I'll get this radio set up to do the mods, and then we'll do it. To start the modifications, we need to open the case. There's 4 screws, here, 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 and here. I already removed 3 of them. So we'll pop the 4th one out. And then the case just separates. On some radios the stickers might interfere and you'll have to cut them with a knife. This one doesn't. So you just pull the case apart and it pops open. Now the way I do this is I just roll this underneath, helps hold it up, and I put a piece of wood up here under the top to support the radio while I'm doing it. Next we use the pointy screwdriver to remove this tension plate. 2 screws. Pull that out, and then you can save this if you want to change the radio back someday or get rid of it. Now the next step is to remove these 4 screws right here, and again it takes the pointy screwdriver. I'll zoom a little closer here after I get these out. Now you don't need to unplug or remove any wiring when you do it this way. My earlier video I showed unplugging things, but I've converted hundreds of radios since then and basically discovered the easiest way to do it. Okay, so I've got those screws out. I'm going to zoom in. So now you just lift up on this whole assembly and it'll pop right out. Now this bearing block just pops off, and then this pulls out, and I just lay it on its side right here, leaving this bearing block on the shaft. It just falls off, and it's got a, you can tell which one is which because this bearing block has a little tiny bump here. So if it comes off, you take the one with the bump and the bump goes on first. And now I'm going to zoom back out. Next step is to open this bag of parts. Now, I always just cut it open, pooch the bag out a little bit, and drop the parts on my bench. There are some really small parts in here. If they go on the carpet, you will never see them again. There's this clip, 2 pins, a spring, and then this spring clip. Sometimes the screw is driven through the spring clip and sometimes the screw is a separate part, but it's the same item. So the first thing you do is drop this little clip into the radio. There's a retainer right here that holds it, and it just sits right in there. So you can probably see that pretty good. And I've forgotten to put that in, bolted everything together, and messed up. So make sure you drop that in first. The next step is to install these pins. Now I grasp them with a pair of needle nose pliers real solidly, and there's 2 holes on the side of this, and they just push in. And it's pretty hard to push them in. They're just a press fit. One goes there. And one goes here. So when they're pressed in, they look like that. Okay. Then this just slides back on. And we get this twisted around. It goes under the wires. And this just slides back on. Then we put this other bearing block on, hold the whole assembly, and push it back into place. Okay, so that's back into place. We've got our little retaining, or our little centering clip underneath, and then you use your fine point screwdriver again and put the 4 screws in. And I'm going to just leave this live. Pull a little light down here. Okay, now this little retaining hook right here, you can see how the screw's driven all the way through, but you can't start like that. You actually have to back the screw out part of the way. And see how I backed it out. Back it out even a little further. And this actually does not screw this piece in. It acts like a jack. You drop this in the slot, and then when you tighten the screw, all it does is lift this up and stretch the spring out. So we've got this little tiny spring right here. Okay, and it hooks over the clip on the bottom and then hooks over this little tab right here. It's the trickiest part. And you can send this spring into orbit and you'll never see it again. Now you'll see on this plastic arm how it's got a little notch right here. And that's what the spring fits over. So the way I do it, and you're not going to be able to see this very good, is I grab it with the needle nose pliers. I pull on this with my finger, which lifts the tip off, and then I just hook the bottom on there. Okay, got it hooked. And then pull that over the top and use my fingernail to slide it on this. Okay, so now we're in position. So now what you do is tighten this screw right here, which jacks up that arm and puts more tension on the spring. Okay, and that makes it nice and solid. Then we just put the case back on by flipping it over, getting the top lined up first, pushing the case together, and putting our 4 screws back in. I'll go ahead and put 1 screw in. Okay, so now we've got centering sticks every direction, and the radio is ready to use in a boat, a ship, a RC vehicle, a Tamiya truck, tanks, anything that requires a neutral position on the throttle. So that's how you convert it. It's really pretty straightforward. The only real hang up with this is there's a lot of really tiny parts. If you have fat fingers, or if you drop things in the carpet all the time, it is a tough project. Other than that, it's pretty easy. I will put a link in the description to the centering kit, which costs 10 bucks. And so if you buy the radio somewhere and you want to center it, great. Just get this kit and you're good to go. Or I also have these already modified with the centering kit installed and programmed for Tamiya trucks, and I'll put links in for both ways. So there you go. Thanks for watching. This is an updated video of an earlier one showing how to install the centering kit on the FlySky radio. Hey, give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. See you next time.